introduce a minimum top-up tax payable by a multinational group with a consolidated annual turnover of euro 750 million, whose effective corporate tax rate is below 15%. Mr. Speaker, the spectrum of license fees paid by telecommunication operators are currently not tax deductible, creating unfairness in the tax system. In this regard, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act to allow telecommunications network operators to deduct the spectrum licenses fees over a period of 10 years. Mr. Speaker, advanced pricing agreements have emerged as a valuable tool for preventing tax disputes related to transfer pricing of cross-border transactions. In this regard, I propose to empower the Commissioner to enter into advanced pricing agreement with taxpayers engaged in transactions with related entities. Mr. Speaker, to attract international financial investors in Kenya and reinforce Kenya's position as a regional financial hub, I propose to reduce the rate of capital gains tax from 15% to 5% for firms certified by the Nairobi International Financial Center Authority. Mr. Speaker, a transfer of property between an individual and an entity where the individual holds 100% shareholding does not constitute a gain. In this respect, I propose to exclude from capital gains tax this kind of transfer. Mr. Speaker, the digital services tax was introduced to prevent tax-based erosion occasioned by migration of traditional businesses from physical shops to online platform that is not feasible by the Commissioner of Tax by the Commissioner for Tax purposes. It has been noted that the design of the tax does not capture all taxpayers, leading not only to loss of revenue but also to unfairness in taxation. For this reason, and in line with international best practice, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act to replace the digital service tax with the significant economic presence tax. Mr. Speaker, to expand the tax base and make our country self-reliant, I propose to introduce an annual motor vehicle tax at the rate of 2.5%, the value of the vehicle, subject to minimum amount of Kenya shillings 5,000. Mr. Speaker, let me now turn to gains. There are substantial gains for Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, currently the tax-free amount on subsistence allowance paid to employees in the private sector for a period spent outside the usual place of work while on official duties is capped at Kenya shillings 2,000 per day. This is quite low considering the inflation that has occurred over the years. To cushion employees in the private sector from high cost of living, I propose to review the threshold to an amount not exceeding 5% of the employee's monthly gross earnings. Second, Mr. Speaker, the affordable housing levy and pay as you earn are calculated from the same base, leading to double taxation. To address this, I propose to make the housing levy deductible expense. This means that there is a tax savings for Kenyans and therefore affording Kenyans more money in their pocket. Mr. Speaker, in order to encourage Kenyans to continue constructing their own houses, I propose to increase the limit of interest payments that qualify for mortgage relief from Kenya shillings 300,000 to Kenya shillings 360,000 per annum. Let me turn now, Mr. Speaker, to amendments to the value-added tax. Mr. Speaker, I will now highlight the amendments of the value-added tax. Mr. Speaker, currently the registration of VAT is a requirement for a person who makes taxable supplies of Kenya shillings 5 million or more. This threshold was last reviewed in 2007. In recognition to the effect of inflation over the years and to enhance efficiency in tax administration, I propose to increase the threshold to Kenya shillings 8 million. Mr. Speaker, the VAT Act allows taxpayers making both taxable and exempt supplies to claim input tax where the proportion of exempt supplies is less than 10%. This has led to tax planning and hence loss of government revenue. To address this, I have proposed the removal of the threshold so that only the input tax relating to taxable supplies are deductible. Mr. Speaker, in support of the government's effort to combat malaria, I propose to remove VAT on mosquito repellents and raw materials used in the manufacture of repellents. This will encourage local production of the repairants. Mr. Speaker,